Let's now bring you the very latest in the world of business as the rand is trading around 16.50 per US dollar, the lowest since August 9th, amid a strengthening dollar after disappointing economic data from major economies reinforced the global recession fears. Thabiso Mamathuba, investment analyst at FNB, joins us now to dissect the latest market moves. Very good afternoon to you. Thank you for your time. Give us an overview of how the markets are trading today so far.
Yeah, so we're seeing the JSE in positive territory this afternoon. This is as a result of resources basically leading those gains. This comes after a very strong set of results from BHP Group, which basically just led mining shares higher in early trade. We saw the group posted its highest ever full year profit on record commodity prices. This was obviously boosted sector peers, including Glencore, Rio Tinto, as well as Anglo American PLC. Now, shares in heavyweight Naspers and Process also advanced this afternoon. This is obviously ahead of the much anticipated results from Chinese tech giant Tencent, which is due to release its second quarter earnings results tomorrow. And then Asian markets, however, were a bit mixed today as sentiment remains sort of caught between fears of geopolitical tensions and, just hopes for further quantitative easing in China, while, we're seeing European markets sort of continuing to trade cautiously. And then just looking at U.S. markets, stocks futures are mostly flat. This is after a positive trading session that we saw yesterday. And now the rand came under pressure against major currencies, as you've mentioned, Mpho. This was in line, however, with most emerging market currencies, and obviously follows concerns of a global economic slowdown following a very unconvincing economic data out of China, as well as, a surprise interest rate cut out of that region.
Yeah. Oil prices declined for a third day today as a global slowdown looks set to coincide with an increase in supply from OPEC producers. Talk us through those developments.
Yeah, we're seeing, a continued further decline for the third straight trading session in oil prices. This comes as concerns of a global, slowdown in economic growth, as well as a potential higher supply if, this Iran nuclear deal is revived. Also, weak economic data out of China, as well as the US, are sort of inciting concerns that perhaps energy demand could perhaps come under pressure. And, we know that this Iran nuclear talks that are also contributing to the decline in oil prices currently, with market participants sort of pricing in just the possibility of a rise in oil exports from the sanctioned nation. And, further increases in supply from OPEC producers are also weighing on oil prices. We know that, these major oil producing nations sort of agreed to a small increase in output. This was a couple of weeks ago, and this was done in order to cool the oil market. So, they have now raised output to basically pre-pandemic levels.
Home Choice International, which sells homeware and loan products, says its group revenue rose only 4% to 1.76 billion rand to end June. What does that performance look like?
Yeah, the headline earnings increased by about 16%, which was quite a decent performance, while revenue was up only 4%. They did manage to increase their gross profit margins by about 320 basis points, which was basically driven by, just decent merchandise management and, its supply chain optimization. So it was obviously despite, the impact of higher transport and fuel costs. So it was a decent performance, and, we saw the board sort of approving an interim dividend of 64 cents per share, and, the company remains quite highly cash generative. So what's really nice about this company is that, they have diversified their revenue sources away from mostly textiles, homeware, as well as home appliances to now include, retail sales and financial services and other new product categories, and these largely include appliances, in fact, larger appliances and electronics and furniture, as well as fashion wear. So the product line has, changed quite significantly over the past 10 years. And now these revenue streams now sort of make up over half of this company's revenue. And, while most sales are still on credit, this is particular, or rather this particular customer segment is lower risk, and we're seeing ticket sizes are not very large, and the client is mostly female, house proud, and usually a repeat customer. However, despite these unique product offerings, the company operates against quite an increasingly constrained macro backdrop, and we know that household consumption expenditure is anticipated to come under pressure as consumer confidence basically remains depressed.
Yeah. Rain, on the other end, has been forced to withdraw its media announcement of a plan to merge with Telkom. Why is Telkom suddenly such a hot commodity? So, shares in Telkom, continue to trade under a cautionary, and obviously this follows an announcement by MTN that it has entered into discussions to acquire Telkom in return for shares, or a combination of cash and shares in MTN. So, MTN's strong balance sheet and the improved debt seem to sort of indicate a higher appetite to perhaps pursue growth opportunities. So we do expect a firm intention in due course with an offer price for shareholders in Telkom. Now, Telkom, on the other hand, has a very attractive, or rather they have very attractive assets. But from a performance perspective, the company has been under quite some pressure lately with subdued revenue growth, particularly in its consumer and small business division. Although its mobile division is, doing reasonably well, but this is nowhere close to, its main rivals, MTN and Vodacom. And we know that it has been the company's plans to unlock value for its shareholders. We've seen the company has recently set in motion, plans to list separately its towers business, SwiftNet, which management has recently put on hold just, due to unfavorable market conditions. But, we await the firm intention from, MTN, and we will see whether Rain will also submit a formal proposal, which may result in, some kind of a bidding war for Telkom. Absolutely. Let's leave it there for now. And thank you for your thorough analysis, Thabiso Mamathuba, investment analyst at FNB, giving us a sense of how the markets are faring.